And so she said to him, "Sir, you don't have anything to draw with." Because the well would be considered living water, because it was not just, you were going down to an underground stream. It was not a, big cavern or big pool of water there. So she's thinking, oh, right, you're going to give me water? You don't have anything to draw with. The well is deep. Where then do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as well as his sons and his livestock? Hey, one of the patriarchs dug this well, buddy. Who do you think you are? And Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks of this water is going to thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water, springing up into everlasting life. The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst and not have to come here and draw." She's still thinking in terms of, this sounds pretty good. There's some special kind of water. I drink it once and then I don't have to do this every day. I like that. And Jesus said to her, "Go, call your husband and come here." The woman answered and said, "Well, I have no husband." And Jesus said to her, "You know what? You told the truth. You told the exact truth. For you've had 5 husbands, and the one whom you now have is not your husband." Yeah, you told the truth. You've been married and divorced 5 times, and now you're just living with the guy that you're with. So you're right. You told the truth. Now, can you imagine the look on this woman's face when he said this? How did you know that? You're a traveling rabbi, sitting here waiting for your buddies to go buy some burgers and come back and eat. Being good Jews, they wouldn't have cheeseburgers. It would be burgers with no cheese on them. But how do you know that? How do you know that? Have you ever been confronted with the truth of your life by something that a pastor or a Christian has said? And you kind of go, how'd you know that? I have literally had in the, let's see, this month, it is 9 years since I've been pastoring this church. And I have had people come up to me afterwards, sometimes strangers, who go, "Who told you about me? Did you know about that? Do I know you? Did somebody set me up?" Somebody brings a visitor to church, and something in the message hits that visitor, and they go to the person who brought them and go, "What'd you tell the pastor about me?" It's the Holy Spirit. Have you ever had that experience yourself where the Holy Spirit reveals something to you and you go, whoa. It's like we live in this world where we think nobody knows what's going on in here or in here, and I can keep pretty much what I want people to know of what I'm actually doing fairly secret. And then all of a sudden, boing, whoa, it's not so secret. You go, whoa, how'd you know? That's what this woman, that's where she was at. How'd you know that? And so she says, "Sir, I perceive that you are a prophet." I see that God is in you somehow. And notice the first question, now that she's gone from, okay, it isn't this guy has some magic water that I can drink once and never have to come here to the well, but rather, this is a spiritual man. This guy's got some kind of mystical thing going on here that he knew everything about me before I even said it. And what's the first question that she asks? Where should I go to church? Oh, she didn't say it exactly like that. But notice what she says. "Our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where one ought to worship." That's that temple that stood on Mount Gerizim, because the town that they're in, Sychar, was right at the foot of Mount Gerizim. So she would have been saying, "Our father said we should worship up on this mountain, but the people came through and tore the temple down that we had built up there. It lasted 300 years. But you Jews, you've got this big fancy temple down in Jerusalem. Which one's right? Where should I go? Where do I worship God?" And Jesus turns the focus from the where to the what is worship. How is worship? And here's what he says. Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem worship the Father. You worship what you do not know." Now, that makes sense when you consider all the history we considered from 2 Kings. They didn't know. They weren't following God. They had bits and pieces of the truth mixed in with a lot of stuff. They didn't know. I don't know what I'm worshiping. I'm trying to worship God, and this is what the people say to do, and where I live, and where I grew up, and what my parents taught me to do. This is what I should do. You worship what you do not know. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is of the Jews? Well, yeah, Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't a Gentile. He didn't have blonde hair, probably not blue eyes. Probably looked very Middle Eastern, not fair complected. He was a Jew. Salvation came through the Jewish people. That was God's plan. I'm going to pick somebody. I'm going to pick a people that I'm going to make them a nation. And these hard-headed, obstinate people, I'm going to pick the people that everybody would go, "Well, that can't be God's people. Look at them." That's why God chose me to be a pastor. So when you come to know who I am and where I've come from, you go, "Whoa, God picked you? Man, you didn't qualify." I told the kids at the youth retreat, my assignment for my message was holiness in a teenage world. The whole weekend was about holiness, and my topic was pursuing holiness in a teenage world. And I said to them at the very start, I said, "I don't know why Pastor Tim gave me this assignment, because I have no experience in that area. I didn't pursue holiness as a teenager. So I have no personal experience in that activity." Thank God for His grace and for His mercy and for the salvation of Jesus Christ. That He can take things that are nothing and make them something. That He can take your life, which is torn or twisted or just hurt, and He can cause streams in the desert. He can make beauty. He can cause the desert to flourish with flowers and make it green and beautiful. And so Jesus says, we worship what we know. We know what we worship. We've kept the Scriptures. We've kept the holy ordinances of God. Not very well at times, but it's there. And we Jews are following what the Torah, what the revealed truth of God is. But the hour is coming, and actually it now is, when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such to worship Him. God is spirit, and those who worship Him must worship in spirit and truth. And the woman said, "I know that Messiah is coming, who's called Christ. When He comes, He'll tell us all things." And Jesus said to her, "I who speak to you am He." I am the Messiah. People say, "Well, Jesus never claimed to be the Messiah." Well, I don't know how else you read that right there. She asked Him, and He said, "Yep, that's me. You got it right." You see what Jesus did? Jesus saw that He needed to go to Samaria, the place where nobody wanted to go, the place where the people, you don't want to hang out with those people. You don't want to be near those people. You know what? It's dangerous. They don't like you just as much as you don't like them. They're into all kinds of stuff that's horrible. They've taken religion and they've just mixed it up into a big ball and said, "Here it is," and it's a little bit of truth and a lot of lie. You don't want to go near there. Just cross the river. It's easy. Head north. There's a nice road. Couple rest stops along the way, and it'll be wonderful. And Jesus said, "No, I have to go through Samaria." Why? Well, as the story continues on, we won't read it, but what happens is a revival happens there, and many people came to know Jesus as the Christ in Samaria because of the testimony of this woman initially, and then they came and they heard Him Himself because He stayed there for 2 days, and many came to believe. Jesus said, "Yeah, they're a mess up there. That's why I need to go. That's why I need to go."